news from here at home and across the world. This is Primetime News, live on News First. A very good evening. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
A very good evening to you. I am Shahin Rampati. We start off the look at tonight's headlines.
Velasudha loaned 2 million rupees to Duminda Silva, a revelation in court. Court informs the IGP to submit report over the complaint made by Sujiva Senasinghe against the police sergeant. Who will the president support?
Maithripala Sirisena කොතෙන්ද ගියත් එයා ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පාක්ෂිකයෙක් බව මතක තියාගන්න ඕන කියන.
අද මේ බුලත් කොලේ සන්ධානයට මහින්දත් නැහැ, මෛත්‍රීත් නැහැ, රටත් නැහැ.
ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. බහුතර ආසනයක් ලැබෙන කණ්ඩායම අනුව තමයි බලය තීරණය වෙන්නේ.
Venerable Sobhita Thero urges the public to think before voting.
ඔබේ වටිනා ඡන්දය සිය වතාවක් කල්පනා කරලා ඊටාම සුදුසුම පුජ්‍යලයකට පාවිච්චි කරන්න.
Take a look at the stories in detail now. Gampula Vidanage Samantha Kumara alias Velasudha announced in open court that he provided 2 million rupees to former parliamentarian Duminda Silva.
The case against Velasudha over his involvement in drug trafficking was taken up before the Colombo High Court today. During cross-examination, Samantha Kumara alias Velasudha responded to questions that were posed when the case was taken up before High Court Judge Padman Surasena. Velasudha stated that when he asked Duminda Silva to repay the money, the former MP has dispatched the police and white vans to his residence. He also stated that fearing for his own personal safety, he had fled the country using a fake passport. The case will be taken up for trial again tomorrow. Meanwhile, Chaminda Ravi Jayanath alias Dematagoda Chaminda was produced in court once again today. This was regard to a killing that had taken place in Vanathamulla Buralla several years ago. Dematagoda Chaminda is one of the suspects in the homicide of the late Bharata Lakshman Premachandra and was remanded for violating bail conditions. 2 mobile phones were also recovered from the prison cell of this suspect, over which he was remanded for 14 days. He is also suspected of being involved in the drive-by shooting in Blue Mandal. The suspect, who was transferred to the Kuruvita prison, was transported to court today under tight security. Police today announced that they are seeking public assistance to apprehend the suspect, Samira Rasanga Gunasekara alias Sudu, who is also believed to be connected with the drive-by shooting in Blue Mandal.
Addressing the media in Colombo, UNP Colombo district candidate Ravi Karunanayake commented on the drive-by shooting in Blue Mandal, Kotahena.
This was an attack carried out by political terrorists. Some allege that this was an issue between 2 underworld gangs. 3 days ago, the CID and the police notified that this was not an issue in the underworld. Dhanasiri Amaratunga and Susil Premajayantha were making statements that a car was seized from the Kolonava office and the person named Amila was arrested over the shooting. All this while they tried to put the blame on us. However, the police had to put it onto the Rajapaksa gang of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Police විහිම්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය රාජපක්ෂගේ කල්ලිය ගොඩකටම දාලා තිබෙනවා.
The Supreme Court today ordered the Inspector General of Police to submit a report to court on the steps that were taken over the complaint filed by Deputy Minister Sujiva Senasinghe against a police sergeant. The order was issued when a fundamental rights petition filed by the Deputy Minister was taken up for consideration today.
Deputy Minister Sujiva Senasinghe had filed a complaint with SSP of the area in question against a police sergeant who is said to have behaved in an indecent manner under the influence in the Habrakade area on the 30th of last month. Sujiva Senasinghe had filed the FR petition citing that action had not been taken over the matter. When the petition was taken up before the Supreme Court bench of Justices Bohane Kaluvihare, Sisira Diabru and Anil Gunaratna, it was decided on the advice of the Attorney General not to proceed with any further action.
We
have great faith in the Supreme Court. It is the Supreme Court that will give its final verdict on the truth. I am happy that the Supreme Court put a stop to allegations that were levelled against me in the Homagama area, and it also ordered that facts be presented to court as per advice given by the lawyer with regard to this incident.
Well, Maina, to many of our viewers who are unaware, a special recording of the News First Gamma, the program, took place last evening at the Sirasa head office in Colombo. Now, Maina, the objective of This Gamma program was to create a dialogue among the society on the need to elect a clean parliament.
That's right, and this program comes in a very timely aspect in our society when general elections are just days ahead. Now, individuals representing the government, civil society and election monitoring bodies were present at the program. Members of the clergy and members of the public were given an opportunity to pose questions to the panelists.
Now, Maina, with that being said, let's now take a look at some of the excerpts from the Gamma program recorded last evening.
It does not matter which political party they represent. The primary objective needs to ensure that all 225 members are suitable persons. If political parties had failed to include clean individuals to their list, remember that on the 17th of August, you have responsibility to choose your 3 preferences wisely. Those connected to sending the individual to parliament may have ulterior motives. Then the aspirations cannot be fulfilled. Are you not speaking about the present benefits? A Pradesh Sabha permit is sold of 15 million rupees. Why do you need to spend so much on the elections? They spend with the intention of regaining this money after the polls. They must declare their assets, provide them with a vehicle and petrol. Do not issue permits. The politicians have moved the people to a position where they have to depend on them. The people have been rendered helpless. Because of our innocence, do we need to continue to vote for these thieves and the corrupt? We need to ask ourselves, if we will vote for the thieves and rogues, why do we vote for them? Why? We need to criticize ourselves. There is no system in our country where a public representative, once elected, can be asked to leave the position. The system exists in other nations. When promises are not fulfilled, that public representative needs to be recalled. Who is bringing in drugs? The powerful ruffians in the respective provinces do so. Who created these ruffians? The politician. They will clap their hands and will visit you to seek your vote. After they are elected, you will have to visit them. You will then be confronted by 15 police officers who will deny access. If the president can retire after 2 terms and if the incumbent president will retire after his single term, why can't there be an inclusion to the 20th Amendment to the Constitution where an elected MP must be sent on retirement after 5 years?
Today is day 12 of the Citizen Awareness Campaign being conducted under the theme, Don't Vote for Drug Dealers, Fraudsters and Corrupt Politicians. The campaign is a joint initiative of Newsfirst, Sirisa and Shakti together with the Campaign for Free and Fair Elections that was carried out in the southern and central provinces today.
The campaign from the southern province commenced from Ambalangoda today. Handbills and stickers were distributed among the public in order to raise awareness on electing untainted persons to parliament. Later, the team moved to Balapitia while Alpitia was its destination for the day.
A system needs to be in place where those defeated cannot contest again. MP should not remain forever. An MP must only remain for 2 terms or only for 5 years. After serving for 5 years, an MP must step down and an educated person must replace him. The same system existed and it just moved every 5 years. There was no power as such in the past.
The campaign in the central province commenced from the main bus stand in Nuwara. The people were informed on casting their vote in a proper manner so that it would not be rejected. The team reached Talavakale and then obtained signatures to the pledge to elect untainted persons to parliament. The campaign also took place at the Hatton bus stand. We had cast our vote for the corrupt and tainted. That only took our country to a worst position. We have decided not to vote for such persons in the future. We will not vote for thieves and fraudsters. The Don't Vote for Drug Dealers, Fraudsters and Corrupt Politicians campaign will conclude on the 14th in Colombo.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a media briefing today.
Some say that they are contesting from the United National Front and under the symbol of the elephant. Others say that they are contesting under the United National Party. Their symbol is also the elephant. What is the issue here? The Gazette highlights the symbol of the UMP, which is the elephant. It seems that some of the UMP candidates feel disgusted to call themselves candidates from the UMP, but they are contesting. What does this define? Division.
For the past 2 decades, the United National Party has always tried to attain victory by not using their own strength. Choosing Sarath Fonseca as their common candidate depicts their weakness, inability and impotence. They also portrayed their inability to attain victory in the presidential election by selecting the former General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Maithripala Sirisena, as the common candidate. In all the public rallies that were being held, we can see that Ranil Wickremesinghe is contesting for the post of Prime Minister. But whose pictures and symbols are they using in these rallies? It is Maithripala Sirisena. They do not have a future without SLFP's Maithripala Sirisena. That is why we would like to say that no matter where Maithripala Sirisena goes, you should remember that he is a member of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Let's now take a look at the views expressed by the National Movement for a Just Society at a media briefing convened today.
Forget about the party. Set aside race and caste. Think over 100 times of your valuable vote and use it for a suitable person. If the thieves, the corrupt and the fraudsters re-enter, they will only grow stronger. If uneducated are elected, they will look to the sky for another 5 years. They will agree to anything. If a matter was said and it has not been understood, what am I to do about it? The great leader Lee Kuan Yew implemented the law to the letter. One of his ministers was found guilty of bribery. The Lee Kuan Yew had visited him and said either you consume poison or spend the rest of your life in prison. That is what needs to be cleared. If not, containers of poison bottles will have to be brought in.
For a corruption-free country, a corruption-free parliament.
Also convening a media briefing today, the United National Party expressed the following views.
Then, Maithripala Sirisena Mattuma.
It has suddenly occurred to them that Maithripala Sirisena is the leader of their party. So they are now publishing newspaper advertisements with his picture on them and saying, no, we have not forgotten him. Though they say that the people wouldn't believe it, would they? It's either Mahinda or Maitri. Today the Beetle Leaves Alliance has neither Mahinda, Maitri nor the country.
It is quite evident that they are trying to steer this country to a point where the law of the jungle would be used to rule. When you look at their false objective of thinking new to give life to the country and all the lies in it, it is quite shameful as to how blatant those lies are.
The Pivithuru Hetak organization convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
At present, the most powerful person is the Elections Commissioner. On other days, it is the Executive President who is the most powerful, or it would be the political party in power. This election is a victory for us. Those who were defeated need Maithripala Sirisena the same way that the victorious need Maithripala Sirisena. What does it mean? This is because he is the president for the next 5 years.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයට මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා මේ වෙලාවේදී ඒගොල්ලන්ට යොදා ගන්න බැරුවද මේ මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහත්තයා ඡායාරූපේ පළ කරලා මේව ඒගොල්ලෝගේ ගමනක් යන්න සූදානම්ක් තියෙන්නේ
ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ ප්‍රතිරූපය.
Both sides are using the president's image in a competitive manner. There is no issue. The power depends on the group that obtains a majority in parliament.
ලැබෙන කණ්ඩායම අනුව තමයි බලය තීරණය වෙන්නේ.
The Colombo Magistrates Court today issued notice on the governor of the central bank, Arjuna Mahendran, and his son-in-law, Arjuna Loisius, to appear before court on the 30th of October. Colombo Additional Magistrate Chaminda Leonage ordered for notices to be issued after taking into consideration a petition that was filed by former provincial councillor Renuka Pereira.
The petition that was filed notes that the issuing of treasury bonds of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has incurred a loss of 72 billion rupees on the country and requested that an order be issued to prevent Governor Arjuna Mahendran from travelling overseas before action is taken on the matter. However, the magistrate informed that as the complainant had not filed the passport numbers, such an order cannot be issued. Meanwhile, court also rejected the objection raised by the attorneys representing the respondents who claimed that there is no jurisdiction to inquire the case at the Colombo Magistrates Court. Attorneys also filed 2 cases over the purchasing of Greek bonds and the misuse of funds from the EPF and ETF. Former Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Jitnivat Cabral, and former Minister of Finance, Mahinda Rajapaksa, has been named as respondents in the cases.
Welcome back to the news. Taking a look at the developing story tonight. The Colombo District Conference of the National Intellectual Council took place today.
The conference saw the participation of candidates from the United National Front and a number of intellectuals.
We mentioned about the social economic market. We work based on that. This concept has been brought forward based on that concept. The fundamentals of this were brought about 2,500 years ago by the teachings of Lord Buddha. We can move forward from that. That is why we said we need to enter the Lichavi system, where the entire parliament will become the government. It is through that we can strengthen the civil organizations, even if we have the executive presidency, the prime minister system and 2 parties for the next 10 years. We have strong civil organizations. That is why we need to engage in politics with the civil society.
The collective force saw the victory we achieved on the 8th of January. Our attempt is to ensure that the victory will not end on the 17th of August. It is imperative that a parliament that represents the president's mandate is elected. This parliament cannot be dissolved until 2020. The president too cannot be removed until 2020. Therefore, we have presented a program that will bring a consensus among both these matters.
When you speak of the manifestos of the JVP and the Alliance, I recall the vision of Kolobaya, who was the minister of King Louis XIV in the 17th century. That was an age-old vision. If that vision was not in effect, we could have increased export and reduced imports. The state will be responsible for the people. There is no clear answer in their manifestos as to where the funds will come from these things.
A public rally which saw the participation of UPFA Kurunegala district candidate Mahinda Rajapaksa was held in Padikka today.
දැන් මේක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඉතින් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ IGP කම ජොබ් එක ගන්නවා නම් එයාට 17 වෙනිදාට අපි ඒක ලබා දීමේ ක්‍රමයක් සොයන්නම් කියලා අපි තමුන්නාන්සලට කියනවා. එයා දේශපාලනින් ඉවත් කියලා මගේ විශ්වාසය.
සිරිසේන කොමේ සිරිසේන ජනාධිපතිතුමා 8 වෙනිදා දින්නම සිරිසේන එතුමා රෑ 12ට එයාපෝට් වහන්නේ නෑ සිරිසේන. මේ රටේ කනකොල කන අය නෙවෙයි ඉන්නේ සිරිසේන. බත් කන මිනිස්සුනේ ඉන්නේ සිරිසේන. ඒ හින්දා ඔක වෙන්නේ නෑනේ සිරිසේන. හරි කමක් නෑ සිරිසේන. ජනාධිපතිතුමා 8 වෙනිදා රෑ ගුවන් තොටුපළවල් දෙකක් තියෙනවා දෙකම වහන්නේ නෑ. අරිනවා කැමති එයාපෝට් එකකින් කැමති තූත්තු කොඩියකට පොළොංචි වෙලා ඵලයන් සිරිසේන උඹේ ඔය යහපාලන නඩෙත් තරම් 9 වෙනි දෛරි වෙනකොට පොළොංචි වෙයන් සිරිසේන අපි එනවා එයාපෝට් එකට ඔයාට ටටා බයි බයි කෙරියෝ සිරිසේන කියන්න අපි එනවා.
In more local news, leader of the Democratic Party, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, attended a rally in Galigamur today.
There are 2 ghosts in Colombo. They say that they are the ones who protect the people and the country. Nivatavansa was one national hero in 89. He used a home made of guns and sneaked into the faction of the Ghost. He has not even used a mammoty on the ground, nor has he done anything for the motherland. He has not shed blood nor tears for the motherland. They say that if they disappear, the country will be vulnerable. They deceive the people and are attempting to continue deceiving the people.
The manifesto of the JVP was presented to the Bishop of Colombo of the Church of Ceylon.
Party leader Andrew Kumara Dissanayake presented the JVP manifesto titled The Accord of Conscience to the Bishop of Colombo, Right Reverend Bishop Diloraj Kanakasabe. The Right Reverend commented our policies and activities. He also expressed his intervention towards our victory in the upcoming elections.
An election propaganda rally of the United National Party was held yesterday under the auspices of Deputy Party Leader Sajith Premadasa in Agunukola Palace.
A group of UNP candidates from the Hambantota district were present at the rally.
What was the biggest gift that was given to Agunukola Palace? A prison. Is it right that this area is gifted with a prison? It is a treachery done towards the public of this area. This building, which is being constructed, will at no instance be utilized as a prison, but we will ensure that it will be converted into an institution that will create job opportunities for the people of this area. A prison should have been built in Madhumulana House.
The Friday Forum has reiterated factors and issues it has stressed on when voting at an election, which is of critical importance for the country's future.
The Friday Forum in a statement stresses that those who misuse places of worship to spread messages of division and racism should not be allowed to return to Parliament and prejudice our progress as a conflict-free and peaceful society. The Friday Forum says it will not support adversarial attitudes in foreign relations that alienate us from the community of nations to which we have belonged since gaining independence in 1948. It adds that people must not re-elect those who have misused public office in acts of violence, intimidation and corruption, or who have not carried out their duties and responsibilities as members of Parliament. The Friday Forum notes that all candidates and parties must respect the right of all public servants, including those involved in election duty, to perform their official responsibilities free of political interference and abuse of political power. The Friday Forum stresses that all individual candidates and politicians who seek our vote must give the voting public an assurance that they will not abuse the idea of a conscience vote to bargain and cross over to another party after elections. In conclusion, it notes that citizens have a right to demand the political parties to not bring candidates defeated at the elections into Parliament through the national list.
A forum organized by the Citizens Force for a Just Society was held in Balangoda yesterday under the auspices of former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga.
We reached a common understanding with a clear vision and program for the 8th of January movement. A part of it is complete, the rest remains to be done. A force representing the honest people and their aspirations have rallied around this vision. It consists of the United National Party, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the Jathika Helurume and several other parties. Rajapaksa has moved to another place with the rogues in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. What should we do now? The decision is clear to me. First, we need to build the country and take over the party and build the party. That is the decision that I have taken.
At a media briefing today, 3 organizations pledged their support to the People's National United Front for Good Governance.
The Rural and Urban Tamil Small Business Association, the Western Province Estate Retirees Association and the All Ceylon Tamil Council pledged their support to the People's National United Front for Good Governance.
These public representatives claim the votes of the Tamil people must be placed at the feet of the main political parties. They are worried that they will be rejected this time around. I urge the people to look back at the history and think, have those promises been fulfilled or not? Make your decision based on that. We have over 5,400 members with us in Colombo. We have 35,000 members across the island. The small businessmen work with us. Susil Kindalpite is a leader who is raising his voice for the minorities. We have been given strength. All three must come together and take this program to fulfill the aspirations of the public.
Convening a media briefing in Colombo today, United National Party Colombo District candidate Dr. Harsha De Silva expressed his views on the upcoming polls.
We have to have major reforms soon after the election and think of a new model, and that is what we are proposing, a knowledge-based, highly competitive social market economy. Our model is going to be built based on success stories of Southeast Asia, of Eastern Europe and other progressive nations around the world. We are absolutely confident that we will have the numbers. We don't have to form a national government just to form a government, right? We will have sufficient numbers to form our own government. But that is not what we are saying here. We are talking about inclusivity. We are talking of consensus, right? We are talking of coming together for the sake of this country, for policy, in education and in health and national integration. That is the reason why we need a national government, not because the UNF can't form a government. It is the devolution of economic power that will stabilize this economy. So that is what we want to do.
That concludes Primetime News for today. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I am Shanj Rampati. Good night.